Hello and welcome to my dollhouse. I'm Osakachan.doll, and I'm super excited and thrilled you're here today. Before we jump into the video, it would mean a lot if you could hit the like button and subscribe. Your support goes a long way in helping me to continue to create quality content. Don't forget to tap the notification bell so you're always up to date with my latest uploads. And if you're into cool merch, check out Osaka Doll merch for some stylish gear and fun accessories. Links in the description below. Thanks so much for being here, and let's get started. Today I will be telling you a short story that I made up that I call the Curio Keeper's Curse. With that being said, let us begin. The antique shop was nestled in the forgotten corner of a crumbling Victorian district, its sign swaying in the wind, Curio Keeper's Antiquities from a bygone era. Inside, the air was thick with the musty scent of aged wood, leather, and something faintly metallic. The shelves groaned under the weight of ancient artifacts, tarnished silverware, a stunningly beautiful porcelain doll that has a crack on its face, and relics no one cared to remember. Tom Harper, the part-time employee, hated it there. The dim lighting cast unsettling shadows. The floorboards creaked like mournful whispers, and worst of all, the shop's elderly owner, Mr. Krieger, seemed to have a sixth sense about the place. Krieger would shuffle between the shelves, muttering warnings about disturbing the items. Every piece has a history, he'd say, his milky eyes locking on Tom, and not all histories want to be forgotten. Rolling his eyes, Tom didn't care about history, he cared about money. The shop's clutter was valuable, and he knew collectors would pay top dollar for some of the rarer items. Tonight, with Krieger homesick, Tom decided to act. The plan was simple. He'd stay after closing, pocket a few small but valuable trinkets, and sell them online. No one would notice. As the old grandfather clock struck midnight, Tom began his heist. The first item he grabbed was a small golden locket with intricate engravings. He stuffed it in his pocket, feeling a strange chill run up his arm. Next, he reached for the stunning, beautiful porcelain doll with cracked cheeks and lifelike eyes. As he touched it, the room seemed to groan in protest. The shadows deepened. He then rushed over the glass jewelry case and grabbed many of the jewelry sets and rings that he knew were worth thousands of dollars. Unseen by Tom, ghostly whispers start to fill the air as spirits start to move about the shop. Ignoring the creeping unease, Tom opened the glass case that housed the most prized possession in the shop, a bronze hand mirror with a blackened surface. It was truly beautiful, a pure work of art. Legend had it that the mirror showed not your reflection, but your true self. Perfect. You are going to make me rich, he muttered, snatching it up. But the moment his fingers touched the cold bronze, the shop went deathly silent. Suddenly, the lights flickered and went out. The only illumination came from a faint, sickly glow emanating from the mirror. Tom's reflection was in it, but it was wrong. His face was gaunt, his eyes hollow, and his grin stretched unnaturally wide. He dropped the mirror, but it didn't shatter. Instead, the image in the mirror crawled out. The ghostly whisper louder now, with Tom finally hearing it. It wasn't just his reflection, it was him, or a version of him. The creature was twisted with elongated limbs and a face that twitched unnaturally. Its voice rasped, echoing in the darkness. You've taken what's ours. Now we take what's yours. Tom stumbled back, tripping over a pile of books. The shop was alive now, the shelves creaking and bending, the artifacts shifting like restless spirits. The doll turned its head to watch him. The locket in his pocket burned against his skin. The creature advanced, and Tom tried to scream, but his voice was gone. He felt himself being pulled, his body stretching and warping. His vision blurred as the shop distorted, its walls closing in. When Tom woke up, he wasn't in the shop anymore. He was standing behind the counter, his hands gnarled and ancient, his body aching with the weight of years. He looked down to see his reflection in a glass display case. It wasn't him anymore. It was Mr. Krieger. The doorbell jingled and a young man walked in, a new hire judging by the badge on his chest. Tom tried to warn him, but his voice was hoarse, cracked, and unfamiliar. Behind him, the shadows of the shop twisted into a grin. Tom's breath hitched as he tried to speak, but his voice was lost beneath layers of age and weariness. His reflection in the glass case was unmistakably Mr. Krieger. Every wrinkle, every ghostly pallor etched onto a face that wasn't his. The young man standing before him was a spitting image of himself, fresh-faced and impatient, just as he'd been weeks ago when he started at the shop. "Hey, Mr. Krieger," the young man said, looking at him warily. "You okay? You look kinda off." Tom's mind raced. No, I'm not Krieger." He wanted to shout, but the words choked in his throat. Instead, he wheezed out a trembling, "Get out, now." The young man tilted his head, a confused smile curling on his lips. Why are you looking at me funny? Mr. Krieger, are you drunk or something? It's just me, Jake. You hired me last week, remember? I mean, I know old people can forget sometimes." Tom froze. Jake? He didn't hire anyone, did he? He barely remembered his last days before tonight's horror. Somehow, Tom was now in Mr. Krieger's body. The shadows around the shop seemed to twitch and writhe, pressing closer as the air grew heavy. "Listen, I'm just gonna grab some stuff and head out," Jake said, walking past Tom toward the shelves. "The vibes in this place are seriously weird." "No," Tom croaked, slamming his hand on the counter. The sound reverberated unnaturally, louder than it should have been. The shop responded in kind, the walls groaned, and every item on the shelves seemed to shift a few inches closer to the edge, as if watching. Jake froze. What the hell was that? "You have to leave," Tom managed, his voice breaking. "They'll take you. Like, they took me." Jake squinted, confusion giving way to nervous laughter. "Mr. Krieger, this has to be a prank. Is there a camera somewhere? What, you trying to go viral on TikTok with this creepy antique shop shtick?" But Tom saw it. The shadows behind Jake began to pool together, forming into shapes. The porcelain doll turned its head with a deliberate creak, its lifeless eyes locking on Jake. The locket on the shelf above began to swing on its chain, faster and faster, clinking against the wood. And then Jake finally saw it too. What's going on?" he shouted, backing into a display case. The bronze mirror Tom had stolen earlier now hung eerily on the wall. Its surface rippled like dark water, and faint whispers escaped its frame. "Leave," Tom rasped. His voice cracked like brittle wood, but it carried urgency, desperation. "Don't touch anything." Jake spun around, panic setting in. What is this place? Why is everything moving? Is this a joke? The whispers from the mirror grew louder, beckoning. A voice, syrupy and cold, slithered out. "Jake, don't you want to see? Look closer." Jake turned to the mirror, drawn despite himself. His own reflection stared back at him, but it was wrong. His eyes glinted with malice, his smile stretched far too wide, revealing jagged teeth that weren't there before. "Holy crap," Jake whispered, stumbling backward. What's happening to my face?" The mirror Jake grinned wider, stepping out of the glass frame. Its movements were jerky, unnatural, its body twisting and snapping like a broken marionette. "I'm the real you," it hissed, "and I'm free." Tom tried to move, but his ancient body was sluggish. "Don't let it touch you," he yelled, his voice barely audible over the cacophony of groans and whispers filling the room. The doppelganger lunged at Jake, its claw-like hands reaching for his face. Jake screamed and ducked, knocking over a shelf. Artifacts crashed to the floor, releasing waves of shadowy tendrils that coiled around his ankles. "Help me!" Jake screamed, thrashing against the encroaching darkness. Tom stumbled toward him, his body moving like a puppet on rusted strings. "You have to leave it all behind," he gasped. "Drop everything. Don't take anything with you," Jake cried. "I don't understand. Help me," struggling against the tendrils pulling him toward the mirror. "What do you mean? Leave the shop empty-handed," Tom shouted, his voice cracking like a whip. "Or it'll take you too." The doppelganger's face twisted in fury, its grin splitting its cheeks. "No takes what is ours and leaves. You don't own it. You did not buy it. You've taken what's ours. Now we take what's yours," it shrieked, lunging for Jake again. In a moment of clarity, Jake ripped a rare golden locket off his neck and a beautiful gold diamond ring from his finger that he had tried to sneak out of the shop. The one Tom hadn't even noticed him wearing. He threw the items to the floor, and the tendrils loosened their grip. "Screw this. I quit." Jake scrambled to his feet, rushing out of the shop without looking back. Tom collapsed, his ancient knees giving way. The shop settled back into its eerie stillness, the shadows retreating, the artifacts returning to their places as if nothing had happened. The mirror shimmered, its surface darkening again, and the doppelganger melted into the glass with a guttural hiss. Tom sat there, broken and wheezing. He was alone again. He slowly stood up, still in shock of it all. But then the doorbell jingled. A new customer stepped in, their curious eyes scanning the shelves. A voice behind them chimed cheerfully. "Welcome to Curio Keepers. Every piece has a history, and every history has a keeper." Tom tried to scream, but it was no longer his voice. It was Mr. Krieger, the Curio Keepers Antiquities shop's owner. The end.
Forgotten corner where shadows creep. A Victorian shop holds secrets deep. Curio keepers designed to sway. Antiquities waiting to steal you away. The air is thick with stories untold. Whispers of relics dark and cold. Every piece a tale, a ghostly hymn, and every tale demands its whim. Don't take what is in your soul. A mirror's truth, a shadow's grin. Once you're inside, you won't leave again. Tom Harper schemed under midnight's chime to steal from the past, ignore its rhyme. A locket cold, a doll's cracked face, a bronze mirror from its sacred place. The clock strikes 12, the shop takes life. Whispers turn sharp, cutting like a knife. Artifacts stir, the wrath unfurled. This is no show, it's another world. Don't take what is in your soul. The past will claim exceeds our stone. A mirror's truth, a shadow's grin. Once you're inside, you won't leave again. Walked in, a new face fresh, a soul untouched by the antique smash. But the shadows grin, the mirror calls. Every keeper must take their fall. Leave it behind or it's a kick you off. tailspin. Tailspin. The past is patient, its trap well set. His story stolen, a keeper's debt. Beware, the shop don't tempt its art, for once you enter, it takes your heart.
Thank you for watching today's video. I really hope you found it engaging and insightful. If you enjoyed the content, please consider showing your support by liking the video and subscribing to my channel. Your feedback is what keeps me motivated to keep creating valuable content for you. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. I'm Osaka, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Until then, take care. Thank you so much. I truly love your support, and I'll see you next time.